driver's seat video for you. Things are stupid today. I arrived at my first pickup this morning, which was supposed to be a drop and hook. I was already mentally preparing for it to turn out to not be a drop and hook, but to be a live load. I've been stuck doing so many of those lately, and I think it's just because there's so many people that are off. The companies are slowing down. They probably have smaller labor force because they're trying to keep their own costs of labor down. So it's one of many ways in which companies just pass on costs to drivers. It's like the shippers do it, the companies that hire the trucking companies do it, the trucking company itself does it. It's just like a trickle-down effect, and the person at the low end of the totem pole being the driver, especially the newer drivers who are more likely to actually be working right now, when the more experienced drivers or smarter drivers are taking this time of year off, or they're doing something different, whatever it is. People like me end up, you know, basically assuming those costs in the form of lower pay because you're sitting for more time than you're driving. And that's one of the ways in which mileage pay is ethical garbage, which I've said before and I'll say it again. Sometimes I know it sounds crazy, like, why are you doing that when you know these things, and why are you putting yourself in this position? And sometimes I'm not totally sure, but I just keep telling myself it's going to result in a really good book, because I ultimately would really like to just write about the experiences that I'm having and help shed light on it for the public, you know, assuming anyone would want to read about it. People sure are interested in truckers, though, with all these like shows about truckers and you know, YouTube channels and whatnot that some of you seem to be interested in. Thank you so much. So they canceled this load. I got to this place. It's a beverage company. And when I checked into the guard shack, he had the order number, it seems like, but he's like, well, they didn't make an appointment, so that means nothing is even loaded and we can't even send you back there. I'm like, okay. So he just let me come in the back, you know, he's like, just find a parking spot and contact your dispatch and have them do it on our end and whatever. Well, the weather's gonna change, and it's, you know, I'm picking up beverages that have to be kept at a certain temperature. So long story short, they canceled the load altogether, and now they're giving me something different. And meanwhile, I'm sitting here not driving. So fingers crossed, my fleet manager takes pity on me and gives me something decent, and it just popped up. So let's find out what it is. I feel like these microwave videos are going to get boring. I'm at a shipper. I'm picking up a load, and I'm falling over, and I'm eating some salmon. It's pretty good, actually. So I'll just keep this brief. This week so far, I'm basically spending hours just sitting at shippers and receivers. Yesterday, I spent a total of about 5 hours. One of the things that I didn't know about before I got into trucking was how often you're going to be in places that are, I mean, it sounds weird to say, like, well, how would you not know? You'd be in places that are really dirty, but specifically in lots where it's unpaved or badly paved, like it needs repaving really bad, and it's just a huge puddle basically, and it's like full of potholes. That's a lot of where you are. And then yesterday I picked up a load of recycled paper garbage, which is garbage, so it like smells really, really bad, and it leaves the trailer smelling bad and looking gross. And one of the things that I didn't know before I got into trucking is that the driver is responsible for cleaning the trailer out. So a lot of the smarter or truckers who have more money than I do have leaf blowers, like little small portable leaf blowers, and they'll blow them out, or they carry, like, they actually sell at truck stops those big brooms that have like the folding, like the arm, it's sort of like the length of your arm, the brush part of the broom, and it'll fold up, you know. One of the things about that, though, is like if you're brushing garbage out of your truck, for me, I don't want that mop or broom back in my truck because that's disgusting, and there's no room to put it underneath your bunk or anything, so you have to figure out a way to deal with that. So like I have a small cheap broom that I use, which is not great because I have to go quick, otherwise it just takes too long to sweep out a whole trailer. And this is the second time in maybe a month that they sent me to one of these garbage hauls, and then immediately after that sent me to a food related haul, which I'm like, how do you guys think that's okay? And it's funny to me, coming from the background of having gone to culinary school, having some experience with like food contamination, and like, I'm not worried that they're contaminating food, don't get me wrong. It's basically that they're having you pick up sealed food that's probably in boxes. But it's still gross to me that my trailer was full of actual garbage, and the place that I went to drop it off, that's like a paper processing plant. I mean, it's cool though. It's cool that they're recycling this garbage, you know, that could just be going into a landfill. At least something is being made from it, and that's great. But that place was like a mud pit that was full of, there was garbage all over the ground, and it smelled so bad that my truck smelled after I left. And I was like saging my truck and like using air freshener, and like, it's bad. So you go to a place like that and you got to keep your windows up and make sure your air is recirculating. Like I hope this doesn't sound terrible because my truck is in battery mode because I was using the microwave, and the microwave sets off the APU because I have a low powered APU in this truck, which sucks. It sets off the inverter alarm or whatever. It's like, I'm gonna explode, you have to turn off your microwave. Well, the guy that was in before me, or right after me, he's leaving now. He might have been dropping off though, so hopefully I'll be out of here pretty soon. But you know, this day was just stupid. They sent me on a 2-hour drive this morning to a place that when I got there, the appointment hadn't even been set. So they turned me away because it was a beverage company. Oh, I already talked about that in another clip. So they gave me this run, and they made the delivery time for a time that there's no way I'm gonna get there within my clock. And as soon as I saw the delivery time was 1700, well, I start driving at 6 a.m. Today I started driving at like 5:30. So I'm not gonna be at a place that's 12 hours from my start time to drop off, because that's going to run up against my 14 ultimately is what's going to happen. Most likely I'm going to end up, if let's say I did make it there within that window, I would still be stuck sitting there. Well, guess what? If you've seen any of my recent videos, you know this run is going to take me through Northwest Indiana and through that Chicago metro area on a Friday night. So what do you think the odds are that I'm going to make it from the Chicago area to far northwestern Illinois by 5 p.m. I mean, you wouldn't know based on what time it is now. I'm not giving you all the information, but let's just put it this way. I'm not. And I just sent a message to my fleet manager like, I don't know, I'll update you when I'm loaded, but there's no way this is going to happen. And that's the thing that's funny with dispatchers, fleet managers, whatever you want to call them. They don't have the same grasp on time that you do when you're a driver. When you're a driver, you figure out quickly that everything takes a lot longer than you estimate. So if my GPS tells me that something is going to take 7 hours, I generally add an hour to every 4 hours is usually what I figure. And that's being conservative because that's accounting for, I need to stop for fuel. I need to stop and use the bathroom. There's going to be traffic. There's going to be accidents. There's going to be construction. Like, so to say a 4-hour GPS drive is maybe going to take 5 is not that's a more conservative estimate, and it could take longer, and it's a Friday. So I wish they would listen to drivers when we tell them stuff like that. I think they're probably not totally taking me seriously, but I mean, they'll see. I'll show them. Not me. Time. The realities of time and space will show them. Good times, man. Good times. I know these videos are getting repetitive. I need to change up my scenery, but I just want to make a quick one. I'm really exhausted. It's the end of another 12-hour day. I didn't probably get much in the way of miles today again, because if they're not sending me through a high traffic area, they're sending me through an area where I'm just similar to where I'm going tomorrow. I've been spending a lot of time in Indiana, one of my least favorite states to be in because the roads are so bad. And a lot of the time I'm in places in the boonies where the speed limits are constantly changing and they're all low for long stretches. So like Route 30, I'm going to be living on Route 30 tomorrow and doing like, you know, back and forth between 50, 45, 40, 30, 35, just all over the place. It constantly changes on that road in certain stretches. It's really annoying. And I had an experience like oh my God, I'm so tired. It's hard to talk. I didn't get enough sleep last night because I actually got done early, but I had so much I needed to do. And because I was at my home terminal, I was able to, like, I needed to do laundry. I was able to be in my car. My car is here, so I was able to go. I'm here again. I was able to go to the store and grab some stuff and just get some things done I really needed to get done. Every day has been long, and I've been spending so much time either sitting in traffic, sitting on slow country roads, or sitting at shippers and receivers that I'm seeing my paycheck go down, but I'm having long 12, 13-hour days a lot of days. I had an experience today though that solidified that I'm not going to stay at this job for too much longer. And I hate to do that. I want to keep job jumping, but I imagine myself staying to like the 6-month mark, maybe. If the things that have been happening keep happening, I might not even stay that long. And it's like, well, I've stayed in trucking for close to a year, so that in itself is a feat if you know about the turnover in trucking. That's like well over 100%. Today I saw my next assignment as I was at the current assignment that I was at, and it was arriving at a place that I knew I would have to drive to a distance, and I have to deliver at 5:20 in the morning. I normally don't start driving until like 5:30 at the earliest, but I try not to start driving till 6. And at that, I usually only manage to get about 6 hours of sleep, and that's so I can have 2 hours on either end of that to have time to be a person, like take a shower, eat something, have something prepared for the morning, things like that. Just, you have so little time to do any type of self-care. And so, and also, like, I really am a big believer in, like, it's not lip service. I talk a lot about energy management and trucking, and for me, having 90 minutes minimum before I drive is necessary, so I feel awake enough and alert enough to drive. And that is, you know, including different routines that I have where I'm very set in my morning routine, and it normally, when I do the full routine that I want to do, it takes 2 hours, like almost exactly. So I time it that way. So I normally get up at 4 and get on the road by 6, but tomorrow, because I'm an hour away, technically a little more than an hour, but I'm going to call it an hour, and I might be a few minutes late from this shipper or this receiver, and I have to be there at 5:20. I'm going to get myself to leave by 4:30, so I'm going to get up probably at like 2:30, 2:45, I'm thinking. And I'm so tired as it is. It's now 6:10. I just made it back. I'm gonna take a shower real quick, and I'm so exhausted, I'm probably just gonna pass out pretty early on. But you know, when I was at Schneider, which now I can say that because I've talked about it, they put so much emphasis in every layer of training. They talk to us about keeping your sleep schedule consistent, and they seemed pretty serious about that. And I'm sure they do the same shit with their drivers, where they push them outside of being able to actually do that. But I don't give a shit. Like, that's one thing. It's like, are they going to fire me? No. I'm sure there's other ways that they can sort of, oh, I parked by a reefer. I don't mind that too much, luckily. I'm sure there's other ways that they can sort of screw me over, but I'm not sitting here thinking that they're going to be like, oh, how can we fuck her over for not being accommodating? Like, I don't think it's like that. I don't even care. I'm not going to overthink it. But I told them, I'll do it this time, but I'm not doing it again. And the thing that happened was, I told them when I saw that plan come through, I told them I don't feel comfortable with this, because this is going to require me to really change my sleep schedule tonight, and I'm already really tired, and I just don't think it's safe. And their answer back to me was, planning is not going to change your plan. Basically, fuck you, do it anyway. And it's hilarious because, like, just yesterday I was getting messages saying, you got to complete these training videos, and it's all videos about safety. But this is where, when the rubber meets the road, no pun intended, believe it or not, trucking companies talk out both sides of their mouth. They have you watch all these safety videos so that they can cover their ass with their insurance requirements and keep their insurance rates where they want them. And then when you get in an accident, blame it on you. Oh, we trained them. We showed them all these videos, and they will harangue you to watch these videos. But when it comes down to the nitty gritty, like today, I tell them as a driver, I'm being fully honest. You guys know from following me, I'm a really hard worker. I take pride in that. I care a lot about the quality of my work. I care about safety a lot. And when I tell them honestly and directly, I don't feel comfortable with this because it's going to force me to change my sleep schedule, and I'm already exhausted, and I don't want to do that because I don't feel safe doing that, and they tell me, fuck you, do it anyway. They don't care about me, and they're paying lip service to their supposed caring about safety. And the bottom line is, I don't want to work for a company that operates that way, because that's not intelligent. And my pay sucks, so what difference does it make? You know, it's like, frankly, I left, one of the big reasons I left Schneider, aside from that account just being a stress fest, but I also wasn't making very good money. But my money is not improved here, really, for the most part. It's roughly the same. And of course, this time of year is not a great gauge, because there's not a lot of freight moving. I am pissed about sitting on my ass so much of the time. Like the other day, sitting for a full 5 fucking hours between a shipper and a receiver. But I don't blame the company for that, because it's a whole bigger complex of issues that leads to that situation. And it has a lot to do with the economy. It has to do with customers having the upper hand with trucking companies, and trucking companies always deferring to customers and throwing their drivers under the truck. Terrible joke. Not even funny. I'm really disgusted. I'm really disappointed, but I'm not shocked. And if they want to say, fuck you, Jana, drive when you're tired, I say, fuck you. Go back to being the mill that you obviously are. You don't care if I quit because you're a training company, so you're just going to take another, you know, you're just going to keep your mill running and cynically keep showing your bullshit safety videos. But then when it really comes down to it, you're going to expect that driver to do whatever it is that you want them to do, and fuck them if they're tired. No, fuck you. That sucks. That's a lot of fucks. I hath no more fucks to give. My field, what is that funny saying? I can't remember. It's like a funny way of saying I have no more fucks to give. Well, I can always find more fucks, but I'm really digging deep this time. Good times. Like I said before, that's trucking.